some, for heaven's sake. Lauren, thank you. Now this, a student at Cornell University has been arrested for allegedly he made anti-Semitic threats against Jewish students. William Jacobson is a law professor at Cornell. He joins me now. Professor, how do we counter this wave of anti-Semitism in colleges? What do we do about it?
Well, the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that it's there, which a lot of colleges and universities don't want to acknowledge. They want to deal with Band-Aids. They don't want to look at the underlying culture at Cornell and elsewhere, which demonizes Jewish people, separates them from the rest of the student body by racializing the campus. And Cornell and others have their eyes closed. How did this student get essentially radicalized at Cornell? There's no indication from what's been released so far about his background that he came to Cornell with these thoughts. He learned them at Cornell.
An hour ago on this program, our resident theologian told us that he was trying to be the provost, it was the chaplain. He wanted to be the chaplain at an Ivy League university. In his interview, the interviewers spent the entire time finding out his position on Palestine. This was extraordinary. This was 10 years ago, and all they wanted to know about was, how do you stand on Palestine? He's a preacher. He wanted to be the chaplain. Is it like that all over the place?
It pretty much is. If you are pro-Israel, you're going to have a very hard time getting hired at any university, certainly any elite university. You see this in academic associations. Multiple academic associations have adopted the boycott of Israel. The American Anthropological Association just voted to boycott Israel. Something has gone so fundamentally wrong, particularly in the humanities. These groups, like American Anthropological Association, are tax-exempt groups. They're supposed to be educational groups. I believe that they're violating their tax-exempt status. I've asked the IRS in the past to look into this, and they refuse to. It may be time for Congress to act. We are subsidizing this outright Jew hatred throughout academia, which takes place under the guise of being just against Israel. But as we see with this student at Cornell, it's not just about Israel.
What proportion of professors defend free speech the way you do?
Not very many. They defend their own free speech. I mean, that's one of the problems we face on a campus, is that, some speech is protected and other speech is not. And traditionally on campuses, conservative speech, Republican speech, any speech that is not left-wing has not been protected. And that's the dilemma that we face, that if universities want to be wide open free speech zones, I'm all for that. The problem is they highly regulate speech and manipulate speech, and that's the problem.
You've appeared on this program several times defending free speech. I take it you still have a job?
I still do have a job. As of this morning, I was able to log into my computer remotely from work. So, yeah, I mean, this is a problem. And I've put out a call for the Board of Trustees of Cornell to get involved. They cannot close their eyes to the toxic culture that has taken place at Cornell, where everything gets focused on race. And the end result is that you have Jews being demonized and students being radicalized.
It's a shocking situation. But, sir, thank you very much for coming on this program and telling us what it's really like. Professor Jacobson, I hope you come back soon. Thank you, sir.